Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Wednesday, February 19th, around 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2025. The record-breaking cold will continue overnight and into the morning, but will moderate in the days to come, which is good news, as spring-like temperatures are appearing in the west as we head on into early next week. Keep calm. It's boom time. We've got a major snowstorm burying Virginia, Maryland, and North Carolina as we speak. A storm approaching the mid-Atlantic coast buries portions of Virginia, Maryland, and North Carolina in deep snow. Enough snow to create slippery travel that may spread into parts of the Northeast with ice further south. Here is the snowfall totals over night here. We could be seeing 6 to 12 inches for a large area of the Delmarva here, and the biggest snow total should be on the state line here between Virginia and North Carolina, but an even bigger region of 3 to 6. More snow than many of these areas have seen in some time. And the cold air is the big story. A polar vortex is making much of U.S. colder than Greenland. That's nonsense. Most of Greenland is minus 40 or colder, but I do digress. But they do say warmth is coming. Yeah, that's what happens in spring. Dang, dang. Now, it's been Colorado's snowiest season for just one resort, where they have received up to 246 inches after 40 inches fell over the last few days, and that's Copper Mountain, 196 inches of snow as of February 7th. Wait a minute, I said that it was 250. Yeah, Copper Mountain is the snowiest with 246. Now, typically, our Wolf Creek is the snowiest, but we've only seen 140 inches, and we're crossing our fingers for a big finish. In our area of southwestern Colorado, we received the most snow in March. And here is the snowfall analysis as of 6 a.m. this morning. You can see the areas we predicted to get 8 inches or so, they received them. And this swath of snow has moved all the way across the U.S., is now centered here just south of Washington, D.C. And so in the morning, tomorrow's update, we'll see the entire swath of snow moving across the U.S. And here is the full forecast. Record cold in the central U.S. with winter storms for portions of the eastern U.S. An Arctic mass will continue over the central U.S. this week with widespread record-breaking cold temperatures through Friday. Snow and ice accumulations, heavy in places, will impact portions of the eastern U.S. from the Ohio River Valley to the mid-Atlantic states and Carolinas through Thursday morning. So buckle up, Buttercup. Those fairy tales from Al Gore that said it wouldn't snow anymore, well, they're just fairy tales. Let's take a look at the thermodynamics and move it through. We've got one more morning here of record cold temperatures pushing all the way down into Texas. Take a look at this. It could be as cold as minus 12 all the way down near Arkansas early in the morning as we awake. Those are real temperatures, so the wind chills will be much colder. I expect tons of people with broken pipes and horrible stories. Let's move it through. It moderates on Friday morning, but that cold will reach Florida, where central Florida will get down as low as 44 degrees, and the panhandle will be below freezing. Like I said in the outset, by the end of the weekend, it's going to be warming up in the west with spring-like conditions for most of the U.S. by Monday. Fun day. But another pulse of cold air here you can see penetrating the Northeast will enter the picture late in the week and maybe affect some of the weather moving through there, including multiple storms that will be hitting the East Coast, the coast with the most, as we head on into March. Let's take a look at the GFS models and move it through. You can see the storm's current position. Heavy snow now on the state line between Virginia and North Carolina will continue for the next 6 hours. By morning, the storm will move offshore, and it will be a very quiet pattern Friday and Saturday across the U.S. Sometime during the weekend, we've got a small clipper moving through the northwest, which will bring some snow, and then another atmospheric river hits at the end of the weekend into Monday, fun day, for more heavy snow for the Pacific Northwest and BC. If we move the models through, end of February shows another major storm moving up the east, followed by a second clipper, another storm developing here, a third and fourth storm for the east. Holy macaroni, will be active after a lull here early in the week. Let's take a look at the total snowfall. And we can really make sense of all of these models. We'll move it through 3, 6, 9 hours. By morning, you're going to have a huge swath there. Major totals, another 10, 11 inches for those coastal regions on the state line between Virginia and North Carolina. And some significant snow in the higher elevations of the west. Here is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Most of the snow over the weekend will be happening in the west of the Rocky Mountains. And as we move through the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, very quiet conditions until the end of the week here, Thursday and Friday, where another storm will move up into the northeast. And according to these models, will bring epic snow to the ski resorts. Holy macaroni. Buckle up, Buttercup. Al Gore! No bun cake. Yeah, he's in his hole. Seismic update. No real quakes of note. A significant decrease in the rumbling in Greece, just a 4 magnitude in the last 24 hours. Overall, low-level activity on the Ring of Fire and low-level activity worldwide. A quick look at the earthquakes happening now at Santorini. You could see over the last few days a marked decrease in seismicity, especially in the last 48 hours. We're going to keep a close eye on that as the seismic crisis is waning. And the seismic crisis over at Campi Flegrei 3 days ago is quieting down quite significantly, and I'm sure is creating some calm in the area of Pozzuoli. The rest of the volcanoes erupting today include Nevado de Ruiz to 19,000 feet. We've got Semeru to 15,000 feet. Marapi on the list again, 12,000-foot blast there. Ibu on the list today, 8,000-foot puff. Liwatobi apparently puffing and passing. Reventador, 15,000-foot blast. Talika, a new volcano on the list, 5,000-foot puff today. Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000. Semeru, who knew? Now you do, 15,000-foot blast there. Ducono to 10. Merapi to 12. Talika, volcanic ash has been identified. Ibu to 8. Possible volcanic ash at Nevado de Ruiz. Ibu continues at 8,000, wrapping up worldwide volcano news for the day. And that brings us to space weather. Well, we had a marked decrease in space weather over the last 48 hours, and it seems to be a slight increase now as we have sunspots facing Earth. No real geo-effective flaring. No one cares. It appears as if we're dropping back into solar minimum in a big way. Solar flux is down, 3-day geomagnetic forecast, all calm. And that short-lived geomagnetic storm, based on our analysis last night, was 100% correct. It was the BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field carrying past Earth and pushing south. Nothing more. No CMEs, no coronal holes. Just some magnetic field fluctuations. This says everything about the weak magnetic field we have. Small fluctuations in the IMF are now causing geomagnetic storms. It's only going to get worse as the years progress. And speaking of progressing years into the future, Asteroid 2024 YR4 now up to 3.1%. Chance of striking Earth. Well, the bad news is they've propagated it out and, well, it may hit the world's most populated regions. This is all based on computer models, bear in mind, but 2024 YR4 could likely hit somewhere along the risk corridor, according to astrophysicists, which NASA has identified as stretching across the eastern Pacific Ocean, northern South America, the Atlantic Ocean, African, the Arabian Sea, and the area of South Asia. Cities in this trajectory include Bogota in Colombia, whose metropolitan area is home to over 11.6 million people. The Mumbai metropolitan area in India, which has 18.4 million people. And Dhaka in Bangladesh, home to over 23.9 million. Now, we've got tons of time before the close approach in 2032, but who knew? Well, now you do. Did you know this? Before lions and wolves, there were bastodons. Yeah, they were the apex predators that fed on early monkeys. And good news, they're not around today. They were terrifying, with very thick bones and, well, powerful jaws. That is a really bad artist representation of what they might have looked like. Here is the artist's impression of Bastodon cyrtos, a newly discovered species of hyaenodon that was probably an apex predator 30 million years ago. And here is the scientist that described the creature and the skull in question. Absolutely fantastic new discovery. All the links will be below. 90 false killer whales to be euthanized at Arthur River in Tasmania, far northwest, following an unsuccessful refloating. Yeah, 90 false killer whales beached themselves in this Tasmanian town. May have something to do with the magnetic excursion and the weakening magnetic field and these strange geomagnetic storms with just flips in the IMF. And we've been seeing things like this increase over the last several years, huge beaching events. But this is not new. They've always occurred. It just seems like they're getting more regular. That's bad news for animals that use the magnetic field to orient themselves, like migratory birds, or maybe even in this case, 90 false killer whales. Now, if you didn't know, the period of Persephone is over for many people in the mid-latitudes. Some claim it's 10 hours of light. Others claim 11. I like the 11-hour mark, and we just went over 11 hours. Well, it'll happen tomorrow morning. We were at 10 hours, 59 minutes of light, sunrise to sunset. But that includes the twilight zones before and aft, so it's a little bit more light than that. Only if your greenhouse is fully exposed and in the sunlight all day. If you've got like a cropped sunlight in your greenhouse, the Persephone period lasts much longer. You need 10 plus hours. I suggest 11 hours of light to grow any crop whatsoever successfully. The lower the light, the weaker the plant, and they're susceptible to aphids and all kind of other diseases. So you need that bright light for 11 straight hours or more, and then you're out of the Persephone period. The Persephone period is a period where very few things grow. They just stay in stasis. They're just alive, but they're not doing anything. But that is over, and that means it's time to plant seeds, folks. You need to get started early, especially with your tomatoes and peppers. They should already be under heat mats. Come join us at Bertie County Seeds, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, the cheapest open-pollinated heirloom seeds on the planet. Now, just 347 varieties. What more could you ask for in the store? Just $2 per pack. If you order $25 or more, shipping is free. Add our coupon code for more discounts, and the seeds pay for themselves. These are open-pollinated heirloom seeds. That means you can save the seed, not be sued by Monsanto, and continue to develop your own super hardy land-raised varieties like butterhead lettuce. How about some provider bush bean seeds, chamomile seeds, cucumber seeds, tomatoes, herbs, anything you can think of. These are some great Paul runners, amazing pink runner bean there. Flower seeds, herb seeds, and more. You can get your own Hopi blue flower corn, popcorn, sunflower, cucamelon, holy macaroni, eggplant, calendula, catnip. The list goes on and on, even many varieties of amaranth, including Hopi red dye. So join the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers. Get your preparedness card in check and get the seeds you need to grow pesticide-free food, because the food you eat, well, it is your medicine. And guys, if you watch The Rebirth of Catastrophism, the Clock Cycle Recurrent Nova on our Rumble channel, Magnetic Reversal News, we had some issues with the audio. It was crappy for the whole thing. We are going to re-upload the original broadcast, which has no issues, because already almost 4,200 people have watched it, and we want to get the original back up so you can go re-watch it in a much cleaner, better way. We want you all to subscribe to both of our channels on Rumble, Oppenheimer Ranch Project, as well as Magnetic Reversal News, because we're shifting everything over to Rumble because YouTube is nothing but a censorship machine, and they've already completely demonetized Magnetic Reversal News after almost a decade of continuous hard work and monetization. They don't care. They think censorship is king, and we think YouTube should suck it. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share the video. As you know, we are now demonetized on Magnetic Reversal News, and we are shadow banned over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project. I expect all of our channels to be demonetized in the near future, and that means everything will be going over to Rumble, where we can rumble in the jungle. Free speech is king. And that is key. We love each and every one of you. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't. Join us over at Rumble on both of our channels. And we'll see you soon for the next boom.